Hi, I'm so glad you decided to click on this video. My name is Gloria and this is my first video on YouTube, so I wanted to start it off with the booktube newbie tag. I'm really glad that this tag was created specifically for the booktube community because it kind of allows us to formally introduce ourselves into this community and instead of just jumping into it, which is fine, but I like a formal introduction. So let's get started with the question. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? So I never really felt like I fit in anywhere culturally. I was born in Benin Republic. It's a small country in West Africa. It's right next to Nigeria. And I came here when I was 7 years old. And, coming here at that age specifically, I still have memories of Benin, but most of my life was spent in the US. So given that dual perspective, I never really felt like I was African enough for the Africans, nor did I feel like I was American enough for the Americans. So my whole life has kind of been like trying to find where I fit in culturally. So rather than trying to fit in culturally, I figured that it would be better to just try to find a community where I share similar interests. And so in comes booktube. I really like the booktube community. I really wanted to formally be a part of that community. People who enjoy reading both for entertainment and also to better themselves. People who use books as a tool for personal growth and development and insight and learning, and just like I just love this community, so I wanted to join to fit in here. So the next question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to booktube? So this question, I think the fun and unique thing would just be myself, my perspective and my personality. I feel like there's no other me on booktube, so that is a unique thing that I can bring. And in general, I feel like each of us has a uniqueness that we bring in any space that we're in, because there's no one in the world who's exactly like each and every one of us. Like, for example, if you're the firstborn, like there's no one who is the firstborn of said and said parents who has had this particular experience. So I think uniqueness is just inherent in each and every one of us. So the next question is, what are you most excited about for this channel? So, I'm excited about talking to you guys. So like the reason that I started this channel, I'm really excited about chatting with you all in the comments about the books that we've read, the insights that we gain from the books, and just how we become better persons through the things that we are reading. I feel like books really mold you into who you are if you use it as a tool to like grow yourself. So I'm really excited to talk with you guys about that specific aspect of reading. When did you start reading? So I started reading pretty young. I would say 5. I was really interested in starting to read at that age. I remember in elementary school, I was excited for the Scholastic book fairs. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that, like circling the books that you wanted to read and going to the book fair and like getting the books. I was really excited for that. Also remember in middle school, during the middle school summers specifically, I would read books, but then I would also write my own book reports for those books. So these book reports were just like summaries of what the books were, summaries of like who the characters were, what happened, and I don't think I ever shared with anyone that I was doing these book reports, and of course those are like long gone, but I really fell in love with the process of reading, not just like passively taking in what I'm reading, but really like reflecting back on it. So those are some memories of like my reading. Okay, where do you read? So I have a chair in my room that's dedicated specifically for reading. It is a pink chair. My favorite color is pink. So it's a kind of vintage chair, and I have a brown side table, and I have 3 baskets specifically for books, I suppose. So like one basket is for current reads, so what I'm currently reading, and then another basket is for my spiritual books. So I'll include like my devotionals, my Bible, any spiritual specific books that I'm reading. At that time, I'll put in that basket. And then my third basket is kind of my journaling basket. So I'm a big journaler. I love to journal. I love to write. So that's my little reading area, my kind of thinking area. I also read on my Kindle. So here is my Kindle. I might put some of the stickers on it just to make it more colorful. But I'll read on my Kindle if I'm just like out and about and I want to like pass time. For example, I was in line at Chipotle and the line was like super long because it was lunchtime. So I just pulled out my Kindle and started reading. One time I even pulled it out in the elevator. I feel like elevators are really awkward places, like you're in a really confined area with strangers. So sometimes I'll like pull out my Kindle and start reading to just really build the habit of reading during those times rather than scrolling on my phone. Okay, so the next question is, why do you love reading? So I really love the process of reading, just like interacting with the pages, like writing down your insights that come to you, and just like interacting with the pages, and just like the process of sitting down, flipping through pages. I really like that process. It's very cathartic for me. I also really love words. I love words. I love vocabulary. I love authors who have a really strong grasp of the English language, such that they just create these beautiful pieces that make you think and that give you just a different perspective on life. So yeah, reading is just like a beautiful process to me. What book or series got you into reading? So there are a few series, but one I specifically remember is are the books by Evan Marshall. He wrote mysteries and the titles were alliteration. He used alliteration in his titles. So there was Hanging Hannah, Stabbing Stephanie, Icing Ivy, Missing Marlene. So you get the idea of like, you know, his titles were of course telling you what the book was about. The titles really drew me to his books, but of course what kept me there was like the plots and everything that went on in the book. So yeah, that series really got me into reading. The next question is, what kinds of books do you read? So I tend to read nonfiction books. Like I said earlier, I use books as a tool to like better myself. So I enjoy personal development books. I enjoy books that talk about a specific goal that I'm trying to achieve. So for example, I really wanted to get into fasting. So I bought the book Fast Like a Girl, which talks about how fasting should be different for women than it is for men, and how we should fast according to our cycles. So that's the kind of books that I like to read. I also like to read books on psychology. So books that talk about the mind and how we can change our mindset on different things. So those are the kind of books I typically will read. But I also like romance. My favorite romance author is Alyssa Cole. My favorite book of hers is How to Catch a Queen. I enjoy that book so much. Like it's actually in my library. I really enjoy the way she just writes. I enjoy her so much. I would recommend How to Catch a Queen by Alyssa Cole. So what does your book collection look like? So I don't have a huge book collection. I don't have a huge library. I have a small bookshelf in my living room. I also have, like I mentioned earlier, I have those baskets next to my reading chair with all of my books that I'm reading. So my current reads, my spiritual books, and also my journals, which aren't books, but it's part of my reading and writing routine. The next question I have is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? So one question I would ask is like, how do you stay motivated, and how do you constantly maintain your joy in this process? Because I would love for this to be a source of joy and creativity for me. But I understand that may, dwindle at times. So I would love to ask my favorite booktubers, how do you maintain your joy, how do you stay creative in this space, so that you're excited to create videos, you're excited to share with your community all the time. So the next question is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I think the biggest challenge would be internal. I think it would be like self-doubt, overcoming those thoughts in my head about like, what if no one cares what I have to say? What if no one watches my videos? What if no one cares about the stuff that I like to read? So I think that's the main challenge I would need to overcome. I think, the external challenges of like editing, I think those can be overcome because of the resources that are out there. But I think the main challenge would be like the self-doubt. Yeah, so that's all the questions. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching. I'm so grateful for you. I hope you join me on this journey. I would invite you to subscribe. I have a lot of video ideas in my head I would love to execute, so I hope you join me. Thank you.